Well, good afternoon. It's Friday, and here we are finishing off a week of just looking at things that I've learned playing golf that hopefully we can apply in our own life during these uncertain times. Well, we start off the week, and it was looking like golf weather. Now it might be time to get your snowmobile back out. So you never know. It's kind of Minnesota weather this time of the year. It's kind of like what we have going on. It's uncertain. It's unpredictable. And so that's why the good news is in our relationship with Christ, we have lots of things we can count on and things we learn. And so today I want to share a thought that I had a couple different experiences. I remember I was up at the Pine de Palm and I was actually caddying for someone. And the 12th hole there, it's a par 5 and you go right in between water, but the person I was caddying for hit his tee shot behind the water. And I just said to him, I meant well, I said, hey Jim, make sure you don't hit it in the water. And so he gets up and you know what he does? He hits it right in the water. He immediately turns to me and says, don't say that. And I thought, huh. And then as I kept playing golf over the years, it reminded me of, it's so easy to get thoughts planted in your mind, negative thoughts, fearful thoughts, anxious thoughts, that almost become self-fulfilling. I can think of a number of different golf courses I played, specific holes that I was struggling to think positive and right on a certain hole. And I can think of the first hole there up in Park Rapids at Headwaters. It had water down to the right, trees to the left. And I couldn't help but hit it either in the water or in the trees, because as soon as I got up there, that's all was flooding my mind. And so I realized this principle as I kept getting better, in a sense, that you have to think about what you're thinking about. And in golf, if you're thinking negatively or there's going to be bad outcomes, it increases the odds that that's what's going to happen. And life is a lot like that. In fact, God's word says this to us. It says that we have to think about every thought, take it captive and say, does that agree with what God is saying? And so we have an opportunity, because if we keep thinking about things, whether it's about who we are, negative, defeated, guilty, shameful thoughts, then that's part of what it produces in our lives. We experience that. But instead we say, no, based on what Jesus has done, we're forgiven, we're accepted, we're adopted. And so that principle about thinking about what you're thinking about, and then making sure it agrees with what God says about who you are. What about your relationships, about your resources, about, spiritual things, about who God is. And He's a Father, He's kind, He's compassionate, He's forgiving. And so I want to just encourage you today, think about what you're thinking about. And then ask yourself, does this agree with what God says? If it doesn't, let's replace those wrong thoughts with the truth of God's Word. God bless you. Have a great weekend.